G'day, welcome back. I'd especially like to welcome my new subscribers, and I hope you enjoy the content on my channel. If you missed part one of adding a threading ability to my lathe, there's a link up there now. You can watch that first, then come back and watch this one. Now, since the last video, and after watching it a couple of times, I came to the conclusion that half I was talking about was just bloody dribble. So I've had a long hard think about just how I'm going to implement all the gearing and all the rest of it. So follow me over to the bench over there, and I'll show you what I've worked out to make life a whole lot bloody easier. Alrighty, so I sort of drew this up to try and explain it a bit better. What I've done is it's mainly up the back. Now, I was talking about having to reduce the speed of this shaft compared to the spindle speed, right? So that's the transfer shaft to get it up the back. So the spindle, an idler pulley, and then a pulley here to drive that shaft, and then an output pulley up to another gear and a pulley, and into this gear and then into this gear. Now, at the moment, I actually haven't counted the teeth on the gear that's on there now, but this one is only 28 teeth. So that gives me that, I'll probably work it out, gives me that 3/4 of a turn for a 1mm pitch thread to move the Z-axis 1mm. Now, I kept thinking about that 3/4 of a turn. That's just a pain in the ass. I mean, it's just makes everything hard to bloody work out. So I've bit the bullet, and I've ordered three 36 tooth gears. So you have one here, and one here. So the reason I need this one in here is this right hand lead screw, and to make everything work the right way, you've got to sort of reverse it. So that's what this is about. The handle goes on that one. So when you turn it clockwise, this one turns anti-clockwise and draws it forward like you need. But anyway, so what I've come up with is this shaft will now be spinning the same speed as that, and I still not 100% certain that that's right, but I won't find out until I hook it all up. So, and up this end, in order to get the 4 pitches I was talking about, 1mm, 1.25, 1.5 and 2, all I'm going to do is change this pulley most of the time, and occasionally this one. So initially for 1mm pitch, it would be 60 cog tooth here on the, like a drive pulley on the back of the main spindle pulley, the big cast iron one. Now stick with 60 teeth there because I've got a big 20mm hole through the middle of that, and I still want room to be able to put bolts around here to bolt that pulley to the cast iron one. So down here to 60 tooth, so that's, you know, that's spinning all the same speed. And here, that's 40 tooth because down here I can't go any bigger really than 40 teeth, and I'll show you why shortly. So it'll be 60, 60, 40, 40, and then down to the back. Now, if I want to drive that shaft a little bit faster, so I can thread at 1.25mm pitch, I got to jump that sprocket there up to that pulley up to 50 teeth. If I want to feed it at 1.5, I've got to go up to 60 teeth. I've left one out of there actually. 1.75 would be 70 teeth, so bigger than that one. And then down here for 2mm pitch, I'd have to go to 60, and I didn't put the size on there actually. That would be not 60 tooth. That's wrong. That should be 30 teeth. Didn't change that value. I've just copied and pasted that text in there. So that's actually 30 tooth. So you'd have a 60 driving a 30, which will give you a 2mm pitch. But anyway, let's head over to the back of the lathe and I'll show you what I'm sort of talking about over there. Alright, I've got the camera a bit closer this time, so hopefully I don't sound like I'm sitting in a bloody drum. Right, so I've fitted all this up, and I end up having to make a new one of these because it ended up too short. I shouldn't have cut off the bottom of it. It would have been okay. But I made a new one up. That was a bit heavier too. So now I've got this shaft sticking out here. It's all sitting in the bearing there. And this gear here, like I said, I haven't actually counted it. I don't know how many teeth are on that. I don't really know. What I really need now is a 36 tooth here and a 36 tooth here. But unfortunately, 36 there and there. This thread here is going to be, I can't remember if it's too close or too far away, but either way I think it'll be too close. Either way, to get to the mesh properly, I'm going to have to make an eccentric bolt for here, just so I can adjust the take up in the gear here, the meshing. So what we'll have is a 40 tooth pulley here coming up to a 40 tooth pulley here, and I've got two of them, two aluminium ones on order, and then a 36 tooth gear here driving, oh sorry, over here driving this 36 tooth gear, driving this 36 tooth gear. So that's where we're at with that end. Hang on, we'll move up front. I'll just show you something up the front. Alrighty, so to get all this to sit at a reasonable height, I had to space everything up. Now there's a few bolts and stuff and nuts sticking down up underneath this bed, so that's about as high as I could come to clear everything and still clear everything down the back. So we'll have pulley coming from here over to here somewhere. I'll make a bracket up that can be swiveled that way and moved in and out so that I can adjust belt tension here and here, and then a belt coming back to here to drive that one. So that's what's happening there. And like I said, 60 tooth up here because I need room because of that 20mm hole through there. I need room for the bolt holes. So that's where I'm at with that. Alrighty, so I'll get on with what I can do until those two gears get here for up the back. And once I can do up the back there, but I'll get in and I'll print those plastic gears up so we can just keep trying everything until the aluminium stuff gets here. Alright, rather than just sitting around on my hands and side of them, I might as well get in and make that eccentric. Don't have much in the way of round stock. I need to get out to the scrapyard and see what they've got out there. I've been out there for a while. But I do have a bit of a 5/8 square, so I thought, well, I'll make it out of that. And that way, you know, it's got ready-made flats on it for adjusting it with a spanner. So let's do this. It'll be quite the interrupt to cut for a while because I've got that square and a 3-jaw chuck. Pretty much bang on 12mm, which is what I wanted. Now, if you're wondering what's with the step, the gear is 10mm. The pulley that goes on the side of the gear will be 10.2 plus another 3, so that's 13.2. So I've machined that in 16mm, and that is 23. Well, I've got to come in and clean that up yet. 23.2 back to here. But I bought some little needle roller bearings with an inner in them. They have a 12mm inner, but the bearing is only 16mm long, so it'll sit on there. And then I'll machine the back end of the gear out so it'll run over the outside of this. Then I'll just come back up in here, get this to 23.2 back here. Oh, actually, yeah, 23. So I'll get a chamfer on here, here, and here. Oh, a little bit more. I think that'll do that. Righto, now to hold the whole thing on there, I'm just going to make up a disc, a brass, maybe a bit of brass or something, with an M6 bolt up the inside of this, so I'll drill and tap that for M6. Bloody nice being able to know how far I'm drilling into things now with the DRO on the tailstock. Alright, so I'll get that out of there, turn it around and turn the other end down, put an M10 thread on the other end. Well, I don't think I've ever cut an M10 by 1.5 thread on here before, and I don't have one of those nice big button die holders with the spring loaded bit on it for this. So I've got to use the little original one I made. I made this extra line just in case it chews it up at the start, which these little cheapo button dies out of the set I've got tend to do. They tend to chew them up at the start, and they're not adjustable, so Whatever thread it cuts is what it cuts. Why'd that slip into me? Oh shit, it is too. Don't do that to me, you bastard. Oh, right there, you moron. I can't do that any tighter than there. Oh, shit. I think I might just take another 0.1 off that, try and make it a bit easier to thread. Look at it now. Fuck, I'm going to have to sort that back out. Shit. Come back here. Alrighty, it wasn't too hard to line that back up because when I set it up, I lined up a flat on jaw 1, and it's about the same width as the jaw, so it was pretty easy to line up. So I skimmed a bit more off that, but geez, I still can't cut a thread on it. It was still slipping in there, so I put it in the vise and I still having trouble turning it. Just shit, that button die. So I think I'll put this one on the back burner and I'll order a decent M10 by 1 to 1.5 button die, and then I'll have another go at cut the thread. Alrighty, quick side project, another one to keep the wife happy. Had to buy a new letterbox, so I thought, I have a 3D printer, I think I'll print a number up to put on the front of the letterbox. And the women at immigration, every year they complain that they have trouble reading the number, our house number, because we have to take a photo of the three of us, my wife, my daughter and I, standing out in front of the house where they can see the house number. So if they complain they can't see that now, I think they better go and get their bloody eyes tested. I'm pretty happy with the way that came out. Just printed it with a recess, sprayed it with some orange, well actually it's what do you call it, iridescent orange, and then just sanded it some wet and dry until I got rid of all the paint off the top here, and it's come out pretty good. I'm quite happy with that. The double-sided tape and sticky tape on the back of it. I'll put a bit more on it now at the edges, and because I used that bit of ground granite to hold it nice and flat, so I'll put a bit more on there and just go and stick it on the letterbox. Alrighty, so back to the subject of this video, and no more sidetracking, eh? So these two, I don't know what I was thinking when I machined this this bit of square with a bigger piece on the back, because it's not what it needed there. It actually needed just a straight shaft, because this is the one that has to have the handle attached to it. And I've decided that I might make up a new handle, because it's going to be too hard to use the old one, and use this flywheel that I stuffed up when I was making the steam engine. Actually, for making a new handle using that, because I'll have to fit something to the back of it, and then bore it all out, bore the gear out when it gets here. So I can just put a brass bush, or sorry, a bronze bush or something in there. I could put a bearing in that. That's the gear I printed up for here. But I've got nothing to fit it to yet, so I've got another gear. I printed the wrong size hole. I printed a 12mm instead of a 10mm hole, and so that's going to go there. And I need to print up printed something up for here, but I printed a bloody gear instead of a sprocketed pulley. So I need to print another one of them up now, because I need to get all this in place so I can figure out what I'm doing for a lever, because I think the only way I can really do this successfully is to have the lever, and that's why one of the reasons why I bought those needle roller bearings, is I want to run one here so that it can be inside the lever, so the shaft can just spin inside the lever, and the lever can pivot off this shaft here. And I'm starting to toy with the idea of trying to cast an aluminium lever using a 3D printed print for the lever itself. See how we go. Try doing that for the first time. I don't know how it'll go. But anyway, so that's where I'm at now. I might go and print some more stuff up for here. Maybe make up a cardboard sort of piece to try and work out what shape this lever needs to be for here. It's going to be a bugger having two levers on here, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Don't know whether to like stick it up here and so that you know, sort of lift it like that, or bring it out here away from the other one so that it's just up above it a bit. But you probably bark your knuckles on that all the time, so I don't know, I'll work it out. I'll tell you what, being able to just jump on the computer, design something, throw it in the printer and print it out. Sure beats sitting around for a week or two waiting for something to arrive. It's just amazing. I'm loving it. Alrighty, so that'll allow me to work out what's going on here. It needs to be up about there somewhere, I think, probably. So I'll be able to work all that out from there. Handle, yeah. that's sorted out. It'll let me know how far out the handle needs to sit to clear all the belts and everything. So I can get on with it now. I'll work something out for this and go and draw one up, maybe print it and just see how it goes, and just stick a 12mm hole through it so that I can just slide it up over the shaft and hold it in position, see how it all works. Alrighty, so I just quickly drew up something to fit here. It's a bit flimsy actually, but it kind of gives me some idea of you know, how things should look. I think this needs to come out here more rather than up there, and there's a pad on the back of this that holding it out, but it's holding it out about probably 2mm too far, so that would need to be modified. That's about all I got in here between this and when that's held in its place in there. I've got maybe 3mm in there, and it's going to move in at least another 2. But what I could do is just offset the lever from here upwards, like make it step in, so it comes up and it steps in and then goes up again. That would sort of help solve that problem. This is not the right sort of setup for this at the moment because it's got to have that on the outside of it. But you get the general idea. So this was just something just to, you know, see how it all looks. And I think from there to there looks fine. You can see what I meant about pivoting this on this shaft, right? So that way it keeps, you know, once I set the tension on the belt, it won't change because it's just going through an arc. I had to do something similar on this one because originally every time I moved the lever it would change the tension on the belt. So I had to change the way it was set up and where I pivoted it. So that sort of looks, that will work out alright. But like I said, change this to down here somewhere so that's maybe about there. Or it's stuck kicked slightly up. The outside of that looks pretty good. Alrighty, it's late in the day now, so I'm not going to do any more today. I've just been to school and picked my daughter up, so it's gone. It's 25 to 6. So I'll call it quits for the day, I think. At this point in the video, I'd like to thank my patrons. This continued support is greatly appreciated. If you'd like to become a patron, there's a link down in the description. You can sign up there and drop me a couple of dollars every month. If you don't want to be a regular contributor, there's always buy me a coffee. Now, let's get back to the build. Alrighty, so version 2 of this lever has shown me a couple of things. I'm going to have to grind some more out of down in here so we can slide that up further in there. So that's something we'll have to do. So I can't get it in far enough. I reduced the depth of this lug on the back, but it still doesn't go in far enough to mesh there. Now, on the subject of casting this, try to cast it, decided against that because this is so thin. I can't imagine that I'd be able to get that to flow very well. So I've got some 1-inch wide, I think it's 4mm flat steel, so I'll just fabricate one out of that, weld a piece of round on the end of it to fit the bearing and everything into. Now I have designed up a new one and I'll put it up on the screen now. This one will have a knurl up on the end where the shaft is on the left, and the slot, the thread in the hole that you can see, that's for an indent spring and ball, and the slot is so that I can have some adjustment in the gear, well, not the gear, the belt. So that's all that works. Well, this is starting to drag on a bit, so I'm still waiting on gears and things. The smaller the drive sprockets for here, they've been shipped now, so I don't know how much longer they'll be. The 60 tooth ones were down for a flight out of China yesterday, so I might have them in the next couple of days. But I can't do much more until I get some more gears and things and stop trying to use the plastic ones. But I mean, all this is just for, you know, prototyping, see how things work, and just what I'm going to need to do. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me figure all this out, because you know, I don't have anything to go by. I can only, you know, just play the suck it and see game. So if you were enjoying it, make sure you give it a great big thumbs up and smash that like button, because you know it kind of helps me out. Alright, so that's it for this week. Until next week, it's bye bye.